The struggle to keep a roof overhead is a reality that many middle-class families in America are grappling with. The cost of rent has been on a steady rise, outpacing wage growth and making it increasingly difficult for these families to afford housing. In many cities across the country, the cost of rent has skyrocketed due to a variety of factors. These include a lack of affordable housing, gentrification, and an influx of high-income renters displacing long-time residents. The result is a rental market where demand far outstrips supply, driving up prices and leaving many middle-class families struggling to find affordable housing. For these families, the high cost of rent means that a significant portion of their income is spent on housing. This leaves little room for other essential expenses such as food, healthcare, and education. In some cases, families are forced to make difficult choices between paying rent and meeting these other basic needs. Moreover, the insecurity of renting can lead to a constant state of stress and uncertainty. Many renters live in fear of eviction, knowing that a single, unexpected expense or loss of income could leave them unable to pay their rent. This fear is not unfounded. Eviction rates are high in many parts of the country, and an eviction can have long-term consequences, making it even harder for families to find stable, affordable housing in the future. The struggle to keep a roof overhead is not just about the financial burden of high rent. It's also about the emotional toll of living in constant uncertainty, the stress of making ends meet, and the fear of losing one's home. It's a struggle that is all too real for many middle-class families in America today. The numbers surrounding America's middle-class rent crisis are both staggering and revealing. They tell a story of a growing divide, where the cost of living is outpacing income at an alarming rate. According to recent studies, the median rent payment has increased by over 24% in the last decade. However, the median household income has not kept pace, rising only 5% in the same period. This disparity between income and rent is creating a widening gap that many middle-class families are finding difficult to bridge. In fact, the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies reports that nearly half of all renters are now spending more than 30% of their income on housing. This threshold is traditionally used to define housing cost burdened, meaning these families are spending a disproportionate amount of their income on rent. Even more concerning is that 1 in 4 renters is spending more than half of their income on housing. These severely burdened households have little left over for other essential needs such as food, healthcare, and transportation, let alone savings or discretionary spending. The numbers also reveal a geographic disparity. In major cities and coastal areas where job opportunities tend to be concentrated, the rent crisis is even more pronounced. In these areas, the median rent can be up to 3 times higher than in smaller cities and rural areas. These numbers tell a story of a middle class that is increasingly squeezed by rising rents. They highlight the urgent need for solutions to address the affordability crisis and ensure that all Americans have access to safe, affordable housing. The numbers serve as a call to action for policymakers, community leaders, and citizens alike to address this growing crisis. As the numbers continue to paint a grim picture of the middle-class rent crisis, it becomes increasingly clear that intervention is needed. Recognizing the severity of the situation, the government has stepped in with measures aimed at alleviating the burden on working families. The government's response to the crisis has been multifaceted, targeting both the supply and demand sides of the housing market. On the supply side, efforts have been made to increase the availability of affordable housing. This includes initiatives to build more low-income housing units, provide incentives for developers to include affordable units in their projects, and preserve existing affordable housing stock. On the demand side, the government has implemented policies to help families afford the cost of housing. This includes housing vouchers, which subsidize the cost of rent for low-income families, and tax credits for first-time homebuyers. These measures aim to make housing more affordable and accessible for middle-class families. One of the key initiatives in this regard has been the plan announced by President Biden in his State of the Union address. The plan includes a $10,000 tax credit for first-time homebuyers and people who sell their starter homes. This measure is designed to help families overcome the initial financial hurdle of buying a home. In addition, the plan aims to build and renovate more than 2 million homes to lower rental costs. By increasing the supply of affordable housing, This initiative hopes to ease the pressure on rental prices and make housing more accessible for middle-class families. If you're enjoying the video, then please don't forget to subscribe and smash the bell icon for more interesting videos. While these government interventions are a step in the right direction, they are not a silver bullet. The complexity of the housing crisis requires a comprehensive approach that addresses the underlying issues driving the rise in rental costs. This includes tackling income inequality, improving wage growth, and ensuring that all Americans have access to opportunities for economic mobility. The government's role in addressing the rent crisis is crucial, but it is just one piece of the puzzle. It will take a concerted effort from all sectors of society, including the private sector, non-profit organizations, and individuals, to truly resolve the crisis and ensure that all Americans have access to affordable housing. While government intervention is a crucial part of the solution, it is not the whole story. There is an unseen battle being fought every day by middle-class families caught in the rent crisis. This battle is not just about numbers and policies, it's about real people and their struggles to maintain a decent standard of living in the face of rising rents. Many middle-class families are finding themselves in a precarious situation, living paycheck to paycheck with little to no savings. They are often just one unexpected expense away from not being able to make rent. This could be a medical emergency, a car repair, or even a sudden job loss. These are realities that many families face, but they often go unnoticed in the larger discussion about the rent crisis. The unseen battle also extends to the stress and anxiety that comes with housing insecurity. The constant worry about being able to make rent, the fear of eviction, and the uncertainty of the future can take a significant toll on mental health. This is a hidden cost of the rent crisis that is often overlooked, but it is a reality for many middle-class families. Moreover, the rent crisis is forcing many families to make tough choices. Some are cutting back on essentials like food and healthcare to make rent. Others are moving to less desirable neighborhoods or even different cities in search of more affordable housing. These are difficult decisions that have far-reaching implications, affecting not just the individual families, but also the communities they leave behind. As we delve deeper into the unseen battles faced by middle-class families in the rent crisis, it becomes clear that the path forward requires more than just financial solutions. It requires a holistic approach that addresses the root causes of the crisis and provides long-term, sustainable solutions. One of the key steps on this path is raising awareness about the crisis. The struggles faced by middle-class families are often overlooked or misunderstood. By bringing these issues to the forefront, we can start a dialogue about the rent crisis and its impact on the middle class. This can lead to greater understanding, empathy, and action from all sectors of society. Another important step is advocating for policy changes that address the underlying issues driving the rent crisis. This includes policies that promote wage growth, increase the supply of affordable housing, and provide support for families facing housing insecurity. It also includes policies that address broader issues like income inequality and lack of economic mobility, which are closely tied to the rent crisis. In addition to policy changes, there is a need for innovative solutions that can help alleviate the burden on middle-class families. This could include new models of affordable housing, financial products that help families manage the cost of rent, and community initiatives that provide support and resources for families facing housing insecurity. Finally, the path forward involves empowering middle-class families to take control of their housing situation. This could involve providing financial education and resources to help families make informed decisions about housing, advocating for tenant rights, and supporting initiatives that promote homeownership. The path forward in addressing America's middle-class rent crisis is not an easy one. It requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society: government, private sector, non-profit organizations, and individuals. But by working together, we can make a difference and ensure that all Americans have access to safe, affordable housing. As we transition from understanding the path forward, it's important to reflect on the overall situation and draw conclusions. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it informative and helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to get notified of our latest uploads. Until next time, stay wealthy and wise.